morning. Welcome to this morning's Wuxing, Long Pai, Taijiquan, Qigong, and Baguazhang live stream. My name is Jeff Cote, and I am the Occidental Taoist. Today we're going to continue with what we've been working on, just kind of building on these basics. Today I think I'd like to try to get to some repetition and use our standing time that we would normally do by standing in postures from the form. And maybe we'll do that right at the beginning, and then we'll kind of apply it at the end. That way we get that standing practice within the context of our usual Qigong warm-up, because it has value. It's fitting in there particularly. So we're going to start with that, and I hope you enjoy. And if this is your first time joining us here, or this is the first video of mine you catch, follow along as best you can, but go back into my live streams, look at previous ones. I'm going to be reorganizing some of these, doing some editing, and kind of putting them in a sort of learning order, and then putting them up as just regular videos rather than live streams. So, they'll obviously have been from the live stream, but I think that there's some good excerpts I can take from all of this. All right, so that's going to be my autumn project. So hopefully you guys will have a nice resource that you can use should you want to be working on something. I'll be able to put these lessons out in nice, easily sort of searchable. That way you can get some deeper instruction in parts of something and find it. Okay. All right. So we're going to begin with just getting our basic Jianzhuang, or post-standing posture. So we want to feel the triangles of the feet. Kind of play around with where my weight is. Let your weight go through the center of the triangle of the foot. Feel where the center of the ball and socket joint of the hip is, the center of the fold of the knee, center of the ankle, and the center of that triangle of the foot. And just try to align yourself in such a way that weight and energy and focus and movement and power can all move easily, so that you can go straight up and down. So all the folds happen where you can keep the weight in the same place in the foot. This is just a good starting. This is a starting point. It's not the end point. It's a starting point for learning to work with this. And using that as a basis will give you that as your framework for when you want to be quicker and maybe come up on your toes for movements. There's white crane Qigong where we come up and down, right? Like that, and always have maximum control in the sense of I know exactly what's happening. I'm managing all the forces well. I'm able to stay relaxed and still direct things forward with my intention mastery. So that's what our goal is, particularly from the dantian through the feet. So play with that a little bit. Play around with the hips. Notice how these can open and close. Get familiar with that more. Always refamiliarizing yourself with it. Even if you've done this 100 or 1,000 times. Play around with how you can put pressure through those joints into the triangle of the foot, both straight down, rotationally, like a spiral down. Just getting a sense of everything active from here down. Once we have that, we feel like, okay, I've got given myself a good introduction to this. Now I'm ready to just move to the next level. I've got the bowl of the pelvis. I stack two dantians, and the lower dantian and middle dantian directly on top of each other. So the center of this middle dantian is directly over the center of this lower dantian. I relax and open the low back, letting the weight move down the inside and front side of the spine to kind of collect down into the bowl of the pelvis, where it can distribute through those ball and socket joints. Active core, not passive. Not like it's relaxed, but it's not flaccid. It's active. It's not tense or held. Everything here is just activating and collecting towards the center line, collecting towards the lower dantian. We're activating the pelvic floor with that gentle jing draw, right? Just that pelvic floor gently draws up and in. Urethral and rectal muscles gently draw and gather in. And it is really, it's like a pre-Kegel almost, in that it's a collecting and gathering. It's an activation, not a squeeze. Then I pay attention to how the diaphragm sinks on my inhale. And I use that in conjunction with the pelvic floor and the gathering energy to just condense the chi in the lower dantian. These are some of the internal elements. And then I relax, but I never let that pelvic floor go, and I never let go of the sense of just that light gathering. It just gathers intensely when I breathe down because everything compresses. Then I just relax the compression, but maintain the gathering quality. And make space, let the breath come in. And flow out. Align the jiajang points here at the top of the shoulders directly with the ball and socket joints of the hips. And now we can start to feel the right and left channels, as well as the central channel that goes from the hui yin through the lower dantian, the middle dantian, upper dantian, all the way to the bai hui point. Tong line, penetrating this. It reaches all the way to the front side of the spine, to the inside that faces your organs. And it flows from that hui yin point sort of up on the inside of the sacrum. We want to be able to feel that, as well as the connection from that to the center line. And how that naturally flourishes into the chest. And from there, we connect into the arms with the right and left channels on each side, but also from the energy and sort of the vitalizing flourishing that's happening here in the chest, down through the inside of the arm, all the way to Lao Gong points on each hand. We're feeling the yin channels, the yin surfaces, which go from the feet up through the inside of the legs to the pelvic floor, and up the front of the body, sort of opposite what that Tongma, that central channel is doing. This one kind of wraps around it, but is still deeper in, it's still core. It comes all the way to the surface as well, right here, onto the rib cage, and onto the chest, where it intermingles again with the flourishing in the chest, and then down the insides of the arms, emerging from the axillary and the chest, down to the palms. Those are the yin channels of the arms. We want to feel those. We want to feel the yang channels of the arms, which go from the fingertips over the yang and outer surface, over the tops of the shoulders, even over the shoulder blades and trapezius to a degree, and up and onto the side of the head. Up onto the face even, but it predominantly just kind of comes onto the side of the head and then moves inwards through the orifices, connects with that central channel and that deep yin energy that flourishes in the sea of marrow in the upper dantian head. Don't worry about it if you don't understand these terms. They're there. You can investigate them later. Just take it in. Anything that doesn't mean anything to you, just let it go. And then the yang channels of the head emerge from around the eyes, flow over the top, the outer sides, and down the front corner of the face, and front outside of the body, side outside of the body, and then the back of the body, all the way down to the feet. So now we've done a good scan of the general structures, energetic structures, and basic sort of mental structures that we've created for how we're going to orient the body. We're still working with this dantian, and their interchange, and flourishing up through the bai hui. And we expand. So we inhale, we expand from the center, and just expand through all of it. Just let your awareness flow through all of it. Notice what the inclination is, where the chi flows one way, where it flows another. If you don't feel that, don't worry about it. Just feel what you do feel. Exhale and relax. You don't know what to feel. Great. You're in an open spot. Just keep feeling. Don't expect immediate insight. Just feel what you feel. Keeping in mind these structures I've taught. Eventually you begin to perceive them. Or create them in your nervous system. It doesn't really matter. They become useful structures. condense and gather in as we inhale, as though our whole body is condensing into the dantian. As you exhale, you release that and flow out. Buttons. And counters. Column swing. Counter column swing. Had a fairly large branch fall off the tree. Fortunately, it just landed on the grass. Not super big. Long. Yeah. Just wanted to make sure I wasn't going to have another. And relax. Back in the center. All right. So in the standing portion, what we're going to do is we're going to take this basic Zhuang stance. We're go through movements from form, just postures from it. So we start off with Taiji beginning. Palms are slightly back or turned backwards, fingers are extended down and elongated through the whole body. This is the setup, because this at the end of Sleeping Dragon Awakens to Find the Root, you end up here. So we're going to adopt this posture. Really flourish into the chest and arms, fingers, activating and then relaxing, activating and relaxing, so you find that sweet spot between the two. Notice the rotational power of the hips. You can be rotating out or in. They're participant in here. We want to have everything that we can activated, but also relaxed and all integrating together. Here we accentuate the rotation out, extension down through, and the expansion through the body. So everything expands. Extending through the shoulders, the elbows, wrists, fingers. And releasing. Exhale. Like a bowstring released. Down. For us, it's here. You should be able to feel like you're rooted. You could neutralize the pressure here into the ground through this internal rotation. And you could expand power out through external rotation. Playing around with both of those, in and out. Learning to find the sweet spot and staying in it, between doing and not doing. Open up the Ming Men in the back. Really drop the tailbone, connect that Hui Yin all the way up through that central channel. Then we're going to receive into this leg, into the left leg, and expand through the right. And receive into the left arm, expand through the right arm. And from here, it moves into just like I'm doing dragon rolling curl. Huh? Now I'm more in this leg, 60 or so, 60%, 40% or so. As much as 70 to 30, 70, 30. Outreaching to receive. Compressing to expand. That's the deflecting right posture. You can shift it to the form where the hand is here instead of here, a little bit higher, and you're completely in that form. So we go from that dragon rolling twirl, deflecting left. Energy is the same though. I still have this built on this. And then I feel how it changes, how the surface, that outreach to receive, sort of spherical outreach to receive changes as I rotate a little further. And all the way from the foot to the hand, and from the hand to the foot. Always feeling those rotations and aligning with them, letting the natural flow of them align the body to assist the structure. Then get receptive into the right, shift and turn. We've still got this pung energy here. Outreach to receive, press to expand. And they switch which side is doing what. And it's the same thing here, dragon rolling pearl, right? But instead of here, we feel again that rotation open. But it starts earlier. We start the rotation early. And we should feel it again, that spiral rotation from this left foot all the way to the left hand. And this inward receiving spiral from the right hand all the way to the right foot. And it creates a circuit of movement. Now, it's not really flowing this way, but it kind of is. It's kind of doing all of it at the same time. It's moving in, it's rotating, it's receptive, it's still got that expansive quality. And we adjust. Am I open in here between the ball and socket joint of the hip and the center of the Dan Chen as much as I want to? Can I open it more? Can I sit into the foot in such a way that I can really feel the stability through these yin channels by balancing it perfectly with the yang channels? Meanwhile, am I extending from this stable base into this leg, out and out, letting it rotate out adequately or too much? Am I pushing too hard? Am I not pushing enough? Am I putting enough support through the core of it so that it has its own yin stability? Because yin and yang has to be balanced on each side and then with each other. And you begin to notice where your tensions are that don't let you move into the position you want. And so you release it. And we move to left. Now, when I do this in the form, I'm not static. It's showing here, continue the motion, sink, expand out, and the whole thing expands spherically. It's a powerful pong that isn't necessarily pushing hard, but it's stabilizing. And we want to feel like we can really receive that in this leg. So we make adjustments. Shift and turn. And let it sink right through. And we sink into that right leg a little further. Again, to get that movement forward, and then rotate on the heel. Just a little, or rotate the energy from the heel. But if you find your foot is turned too far, you can rotate on the heel and turn slightly so that you've got good stability here. We still want a sense of the ability to rotate open, rotate closed, and have freedom in there that creates rising and falling. Okay, still have this. Even if I'm further back, say I haven't moved that far forward, when I'm this part of the movement, I should still have that. Shifting into this way, more in the left leg, still have it. receive, and then immortal pounds immortal. Back out into the sun here, moving around and shifting that. Actually, everything's shifting. Come on over here. Here's some sun. It's easier to see. All right. So let's do the same thing, same sequence through the other side, and we'll finish our warm up because we're doing this as just like a standing qigong. So start. We're just changing different postures. Start palms down, back, fingers down. Because after a mortar pounds a mortar, out and down, and Tai Chi reverse. Now we've already got this natural rotation happening here from opening up. So we're going to follow that. Let that spiral lead up. Last time in Tai Chi beginning, we started from here and we've used the outward rotation to create this extension. This time we're using the inward rotation to create that extension. And then back down. That's why it's called Tai Chi reverse. And we're balancing yin and yang again, still outward to inward. Receptivity to expansion. Hands are a little closer this time. Then to the right. We're doing dragon rolling pearl over here. Since we're doing deflecting right and left. Okay. And deflecting. Turn the foot. Just like dragon rolling pearl, except that we may not drop this hand quite as far. Again, we want to have that sense of sphere and its rotation. Outer surface, this expansion and receptivity. And I'm receiving that first it's into this leg, then it's going to be into this leg. I have to feel that transition. And to reposition, sink, everything is sinking. Expanding back out from the sunken position. So maybe we stop here and just work with this position. Expansion. Notice what's going on, leg to leg, rotation, positioning through here. What can you do? What is better? What is best? Where is it weak? Where can you move to help build strength in what's weak? What's closed? What can you open? Again, if you need to turn the foot, then do so after you cross that 50% shift mark. If you don't need to, just shift, turn. Open out. Now expanding through this leg, receiving through this leg. Receive. Centralize. So this, we just kind of went through that whole really short form and really broke it down with some really good postures. This is some important stuff. If you've been doing this for a while and you've never done something like this, or you've never really taken it apart and just stood in the ends of each postures, then now that you've done this, I recommend you start going through the rest of your form, and we'll do that too. Going through the rest of the form piece by piece like this, just taking each one, rearranging your posture. You can do this over and over again. And then for a while you work on flow and just work on the form and making sure your transitions are good. You may examine one move for a while and all its variations and how you can express it. That's also a good study. But along the way, you need to methodically take apart each of these. Hands, wrists, and fingers. The other way. Elbows. The other way. And shoulders. The other way. Shake up the arms. Trunk twist from the center. Way up each side. Shoulders. And center line, getting the solar plexus. Lower back chin. And down the outsides of the legs. The insides. Around the diamond. On the front outside. Front inside. On the diamond. Side outside. Middle inside. Around the diamond. Down the back. Inside back. Around the diamond. Waist rotations. Circling the diamond. Other way. Now the ball and socket joints of the hips. Other way. And both hips at the same time. The other way. Back and forth. Reversing those circles. Again. And friction rubbing the knee. Together, small circles with the knees. Other way, feet stay flat on the ground. deep bends. Down, ankle and hip. Remember, never just doing this with one leg. Your stabilizing leg is as important to the process. Try to keep them together. Go from your center, interacting with both differently. Good stability, nice pliability, and action. Foot and ankle. Other way. Brushing the grass. Other way. Behind. Other way. Down. Other side. Ankle, hip. Other way. Foot and ankle. Other way. Brushing the grass. Other way. Behind. Other way. Down. Knees back, elongate the spine, flat back, lift the sacrum. Work your way down, try to keep everything as long and as flat as you can. Knees back. Also press down through the feet. Center, extend the tailbone and head away two dragons circle the pond. Feel how your center is connected to the ground through this foot, or how it's connected to the ground through the other foot, even though they're elongated. How the center is connected to the top of the head, to the center line, through the spine, to the right and left channels. Where is there holding? How can you balance? What can elongate, open? What can stand a little bit more energy and tension, pressure? What needs less? Where can you do less? Where are you not doing enough? Outreach. Reach out, spiraling feet ahead. Squat stance. In case you haven't figured it out, the two dragons circle the pond are the right and left channels, the coiling power they have. And hands down, inguinal stretch. Rolling the spine up from bottom to top. And some dragon spine. Try to get that feel of the rotating open and rotating closed in. So it's rotating in and out. In, go back, abdomen works. Out, muscles along the spine work. Back. Then we go the other way. And then over. And relax. Shake it out. All right. Let's see where we are in time. How much time I have left, because I've been going over a lot lately and it's been making me late for other classes, which is not good. All right, we got 15 minutes. Excellent. Enough time to do what I want. So what we're going to do next is we're going to work on, we did the sort of stop motion, working with each of those postures and that sort of micro form, little 4-move short form, mini form that I created as a good starting point. Next one is we do the small mirror, which has 8 moves or so to each side. Depends on how you break them up. Don't get hung up on numbers. Just call it an 8-move form. There are 8 fundamental concepts or patterns of movement that are in there. Within that are other smaller patterns. So depends upon how you break it. You can look at it and say, oh, wow, there's like 12, 14 of them here. And you could still be right. But there are 8 fundamental actions. And it's to each side of the body. And so what we're going to do is we're going to flow through the first 4 like we just did. Nice and, we'll take our time a little bit, kind of reviewing what we did earlier, but maybe not spending as long in each posture. Getting to the immortal pounds of mortar. And then, like we did with the split and open last week, I think, or maybe it was Tuesday. I don't know. They blend together for me after a while. We'll do that, split and open, and looking right, and squeeze and press, and push. Okay, because that's all one sequence too. All right, so we'll look at that, and then we'll see where we are, and we'll do the stop motion with each of those pieces, because that'll help you start to build the structure. Okay, so we'll start from the very beginning. Feet are together, good central equilibrium. Feel the triangles of both feet, the yin channels of both legs, the yang channels of both legs. How that's all connected to the Dan Chan and the Dai Mai. The right and left channels that come out of that, and the central channel. And then from the center of the chest to the right and left channels, the arms and hands. Feeling the yin channels go from the feet and the insides of the arms. And the yang channels just go from the yang channels of the arms to the head, from the head down to the back and sides and outside front of the body, wrapping around the yin channels. And just being aware of it as concepts, that like I can feel these as areas of my body. As we inhale, we let our awareness go from the ground and the feet up to the Hui Yin and the Dan Qian. From there, we sit and sink, opening up the hips, letting our awareness come out through the hips, the Dai Mai, down the outsides of the legs, but also up the center line, center of the chest, and out to the right and left channels. Then out through the yin channels of the arms, yang channels of the arms, and then the yang channels of the whole body. Don't worry about it if you can't picture all that yet. You will. Come back to this after you've done more meridian flow Qigong. We're here, palms back, right? Taiji beginning. Notice it's that rotation, spiral rotation. And release. Spiral rotation. Deflecting left. And right. Step. Roll back. Expand or press. And roll continue. From here, we have split. This left side rotates in and gets receptive. This right side rotates out and gets expansive. Together, they balance each other. And open. Just follow that out as you allow it to spin, everything to continue their spiral rotation. Check your posture, straight up and down, good buoyancy. Receptive, expansive, receptive, expansive. And again, we drop and under. And then expand out. Step. And reposition. Squeeze. We're trying to receive. Remember, we're trying to receive, and we're going to try to receive any imagined resistance here into this leg. and sink and turn. And I think that's where we had got. Okay. Let's take it from mortal pounds of mortar. We'll review that. We're reviewing what we covered last time. So we've got that receive and expand, which creates split, open, cross the hands, look to the right. Squeeze, sink, cross, and push. 2 dragons, seal the gate. Every time you hear those 2 dragons, it's always about this. Oiling of the right and left sides. Seal here and pull down. Seal here and expand out. Let's look at that again. Oiling. Oiling. And using it almost like a serpentine coil. So I've got all this momentum that comes into this. Let's do that again. A press, a push. You want to get a sense, remember I mentioned this before, get a sense of sinking. Make sure you're not pushing onto this leg, but you're sinking and receiving in here. Because anything we encounter is being neutralized through receptivity. There's still the coil. Always, if I'm encountering force, even if I'm just imagining, I want to feel like I can neutralize it and catch it through my legs without it necessarily having my center. And I'm using yin and yang coiling power of these 2 sides to do that. That's what this move is all about. Yeah. Dragon, seal the gate. And rolling the pearl. This is just the movement, but I'm going to be doing it just here. Here. It's a small movement. This has a lot in it. There's a lot, there's a little bit of dragon spine, right? But there's also the coiling. It starts from here. Notice, receptive here, expansive here. Then receptive here, expansive here. In reality, it's this being expressed as hand movements. So, curl, hooking, crane. Okay. Let's go back to mortal pounds of mortar. We'll take it up to there. Just introducing a couple more moves, then we'll go some stop motion. Let's split. We did this one already. Receptive and expansive. And receive. Receive here. Open. Receive left. Follow through. Receive. Receive. Receive into the stability in the ground. Dragons through the gate. So here, think of sinking and expanding love, like your intention is coming underneath the ground, flowing out, and you're getting receptive here. So anything you encounter is grounded. And we come back. Oh, no, we don't come back. Sorry. That's next move after the sequence. So we're here. And we follow through. Once we get here, then the rest of us follows through. We still have the coiling. Right? And getting that coiling of the two sides to match up is part of the flow of this. So play around with it. Get the feeling, learn to get this, that sense of. And as soon as you feel like you've created it, then this one will follow in the wake, almost like it's being pulled along. Ready for support. Very yin. But then it becomes receptive as you come there. Right? You have the coiling. I still got energy here. And here. And stability from that. Pull down. This has its own technical skill. That is its own technique. And it's a hidden one within this. Same thing here. Weight is moving from underneath. Outreaching to receive, to root it through the legs. Right? This is its own technique. So you can see there's a number of buried methodologies, and there's more of it. But learning where the things fold and change and where the transitions are occurring and playing with them, always trying to get the structure right. So you've got an even receive, alignment, expand, and alignment. I know what is yin and what is yang. What's receptive, what's expansive, what's heavy, what's light, what's forceful, what's not, what's more of a soft joining. Right? That's an artistic expression of it, changing rhythm and tempo and speed, and play with that, because some of that is about the flow. Let yourself enjoy this, not just work on, okay, my hand needs to be here. That's good, but you've got to get into the feel of the flow. That's where the joy is. That's where the chi is. That's where the childlike part of you will learn a lot and love doing it more. So don't be afraid to play with that. Okay? Where are the edges of tension? Can you ride around them so you can stay relaxed and yet at that edge of doing and not doing? That's what's coming next. Okay, we'll cover that on Tuesday. That bump and then single whip. Okay? For now, what we've added in, we'll go through one more time, nice and slow, from the Immortal Pounds of More. That's split and open. And these are just names I'm giving to like whole sections. They're not actual whole movements. I'm breaking them into things for you to think about and help to learn the process. Cross the hands and look to the right. Squeeze and press. Push. Two dragons seal the gate. Roll and curl. Hook with transfer. This looks like a strike to elicit a response. Can be a strike, but it's to elicit that arm to come up and protect, coil around it to hook. Okay? Break balance. And it's just a technique that you can learn and play around with. It's not necessary as part of, again, I've said this, it's very helpful to learn the martial art of this, but you can still gain most of the benefits without it. And the only other ones you gain with it are that the sort of last little piece of learning how to really embody not using force against force. And it really triggers a change in the mentality. And eventually, most people, if they do this long enough, they want to have some of the dynamic of the interpersonal play that push hands is and all that. But it's not a requirement, not to get something from it. I mean, if you want to really explore the whole thing and you're eventually going to teach it, I feel like it kind of is a requirement. You should. But if you're not interested in teaching it and you just want to study it for your own well-being, treat it like a trip to the grocery store. Some of this is valuable, some of it is not. If you can imagine that there's something there, it helps you smooth out the movement. Coming around something, it helps you to release the tension in the shoulder because you learn to let go and then you let it hang. You learn to let go of that arm and shoulder and then you connect it to the foot with that sense of drawing downward with your body weight. So that this hook has like substance to it. If you encounter a real draw and any tension would pull them off balance. And it doesn't matter if you can accomplish it. The attempt to try to, even just imagining, will get your body in the right thing. You don't ever even have to play around with another person doing it. You can still feel where your tension is as you do this. Okay. Dragon rolling curl. Really slow. Dragon rolling curl. Step with this. That's another reason why you want to sink into this leg anyways. The next move requires you to step out. All right. Close. I hope that process was illuminating for you, helped you get some of this a little bit more. Thank you for joining me, Trisha. If you'd like to support my work, you can go to my coffee page. That's ko-fi.com/Occidental Taoist. Leave me a donation there. You can also join me on Patreon and patreon.com/Occidental Taoist. And there I have some exclusive content for Patreon patrons. I also have a Facebook live stream. I have a ton of live stream videos, and there's a ton here on YouTube. If you haven't subscribed already, subscribe to my YouTube channel, and you'll see every Tuesday and Thursday I get a new live stream of these classes. You can enjoy them for yourself. I'm going to keep doing these as long as I can during this time until I maybe have to make a shift to make things work in my life. I don't know how long that'll be. We'll see. In the meantime, I'm getting lots of great video content that I will eventually cut down into some really great online lessons. And I will always have stuff for free for people who can't afford Tai Chi to take a class or pay for a class somewhere, because I really believe in it and I think it can help people become very healthy and balanced. And, I mean, that's a good starting point for some healthy balance boundaries in our world where we can learn to get along. Because if we can learn to create harmony in here, it gets a lot easier to create harmony out here. Thank you guys very much, and may you have many blessings of radiant health and a peaceful, happy heart. Shusha. I can't see because of the sun.